Good evening and welcome back to the Heart for the Community Initiative 2022 Black Business Spotlight. This is our second annual time of doing this. It started as an idea to just do it during Black History Month. Last year, that's exactly what we did. But this year, the response from the business owners and the audience has been so overwhelming that we discovered that February could not contain us. So here we are. I believe that this is episode 12. I'm losing count now. I believe this is episode 12. We're probably going to run one more for the month of March. And then we're going to start scheduling for April and even May. And the promise that I made to the community is that we will run this particular series until we just run out. If any business owner contacts me saying, hey, listen, I want to be part of the Black Business Spotlight, my goal is to say yes. So I don't want to deny any of our entrepreneurs an opportunity to come on to Heart for the Community Initiative and let the DMV region, when I say the DMV region, I'm talking about DC, Maryland, and Virginia, right? I want you to be able to let the people know who you are and what your businesses are. And for all of you business juggernauts that have 4, 5, 6 businesses, that's all right with me. If it's all right with you, if you want to come on and talk about them, then that works for me just fine. As you can see, we have these 3 tremendous business owners, entrepreneurs here with us. You're going to be amazed by the time we finish this episode, not only about their creativity to start and maintain their businesses, but when they begin to tell you about their stories, you know, how they got from where they were to where they are, I think it'll be so helpful for any of you who are looking to do business. I know that so many are on the sidelines because nobody has ever taught you. Maybe you didn't have entrepreneurs in your family. They were not part of your mentorship coming up. I didn't have a whole lot of business owners as my entrepreneurs and mentors coming up. So what I've learned about business, I've had to learn as an adult. Well, maybe you're one of those persons, but I got a feeling that some information will be released to this evening that will be very helpful to you. I'm going to ask you to do this. For those of you who are with us live, if you will begin to share this broadcast and tag your friends, tag your family and friends, let them know that Heart for the Community Initiative is live. We are on the air. We have episode 12 of the Black Business Spotlight. That means there are some business owners in our region that are on the air. And in just a few moments, they're going to begin to tell you about their wonderful businesses and about themselves. All right. So buckle up. Let's get ready to have a tremendous episode. I want to let the audience know that if you have any questions whatsoever or any comments, feel free to post your questions and or comments in the comments. As many as we can get to, we will. All right. So buckle up and get ready. So this evening we have Mitri Nelson with Meech. He's a Meech the Artist, Art by Meech. And I know there's another business. He's going to tell you about it. We have Miss Amara. Now, she has introduced me to something that I never knew anything about. But we're going to learn tonight. Is it Miss Curve or Miss Curvey?
Now, it's Miss Curvey.
Miss Curvey,
yes.
Virginia Globe. And in a few minutes, we're going to know all about it. And then we have Miss Shalita Duke, who, from what I understand, is counselor par excellence to the ladies. So we're going to let these wonderful business owners tell you about themselves. We're going to start with Meech and then Amara and then Shalita. Meech, please tell us about your business and tell us about yourself.
Well, again, my name is Dimitri Nelson. I go by Meech for a lot of people. Mitri, for those who know me very well. I'm the owner of Art by Meech LLC, co-owner of Vibes and Paint, and I specialize in paint and sip parties, interior and exterior murals. I also specialize in hosting 5-week curriculums for students and children who want to take their art game to the next level, and give you guys a little bit of confidence so you can, paint like Bob Ross.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you sound mighty ambitious there, sir. And let me tell y'all, I have seen Meech's work. We've been at several events together. His work is tremendous, and he does so well with the younger folks. So I can back what he's saying. Miss Amara, please introduce yourself and your many talents to the audience.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Amara Graham. I am Miss Curvey Virginia Globe 2022. I am a representative of the Mrs. Globe organization and the WIN Foundation, which is the Women in Need Foundation brand ambassador. So I'm really excited to just be a part of something that's so much bigger than myself, that is really about uplifting and empowering women. And beyond that, I am also a business owner. So I own Graceful Lashes and Beauty LLC in Northern Virginia. I've owned it for the past 4 years. And it's another aspect of empowering women as I accentuate their natural beauty. So I provide the service, and then I offer trainings so that I can also teach other women how to, provide lash extension services. So again, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about the season of life, and really all the more just empowering and uplifting women through the gifts and the talents that God has given me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And if I get the right banner going there, we'll be just fine. Miss Shalita Duke, you do something very similar in one portion to Amara, but then again, you got your own lane. Please tell the audience something about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Carl, thank you for having me on this platform. As you stated, I am Shalita Winfield Duke. I am a licensed minister, author, speaker, and a personal success coach at She Win Unlimited. And what I do at She Win Unlimited is I help Christian professional women, ideally who are at that age where they're starting to think about retirement, to break free from the self doubt and the uncertainty that is keeping them stuck, stagnant, and settling for less. And I help them boldly pursue those hopes and dreams that they placed on the shelf so many years ago when they were starting their family and or their professional career. In addition to that, I hold an annual women's conference the third Saturday in September here locally in the DMV area, where we are focusing on, again, professional women, entrepreneurs, and ministry leaders, where we help them win in every area of their life, business, and ministry, basically.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. This is wonderful. I am excited to get this conversation going so the community can know there is Pastor Lee Moore, and God bless you, brother. We appreciate you being here with us. All right, this is what I want to know. Now, there are so many people who have a talent for art and are doing art in the community. There are many people who are doing uplifting and encouragement for women. There are so many lash and nail technicians, but there's something that makes you stand out. If it were not so, you wouldn't be here, right? Because you have been able to maintain your business, and I'm sure you guys have all kind of stories about what COVID did to you. This has been, I'm convinced that if anybody could build and maintain a business during COVID, there is no reason for you to ever have to shut your doors unless you want to. So I'm going to start with Amara, and I'm going to ask, what is it that makes you and your business stand out? And why should we spend our money with you? What makes you so different than everybody else?
That's a great question. So, what makes me different? Well, I do my own lash extensions. When I had actually, so I have, I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I had learned about just, doing hair, lashes, and such when I was in high school. And I recognized that I do not have the love for hair. I have shaved sides, which I'm really proud of. But I found that lash extensions always made me feel good. And it didn't matter as to whether or not I had on makeup. It didn't matter, just whether or not my nails were done. Even with COVID, we've learned that with wearing masks, the only thing that you can actually see is a woman's eyes. And so that said, I think what makes me stand out is the fact that I am the brand ambassador for my brand. Unlike many women that I know and many lash extension artists, they have to rely upon someone else to service themselves. And I remember when I moved to Virginia and decided, when God gave me the idea and the plan for Graceful Lashes and Beauty, I did not have to rely upon anyone else to service me because I could do it myself. And so when I was reaching out and I was posting on Stafford Talk, and I literally used myself, like if you look at my business page, I am the face that you see. And, I questioned that because I said, God, well, I'm all about, empowering women. I don't necessarily, it doesn't need to be me that's seen, but the beauty of that is God literally used me in a place where I knew no one. I moved to Virginia. My family is in New York. My network is in New York. And I had the challenge of building something bigger than myself in a place where I knew no one. And so, God, I remember reaching out to people and wanting to partner. And, I was told no, people are careful about their brands. And I understood. And God said, you know what, like, use yourself. There's something I've placed within you. And oftentimes we become discouraged because we are relying upon people to build our brand, to support the vision. And God said, if I placed it in you, I will allow that very thing, that seed that I've placed in you, to grow. It's just the faith of a mustard seed. And so I think what has helped me to remain sustainable is I love God and I love people. I'm honest in my doing. And I think oftentimes people forget that they are their brand. And so when you show up, like, I can be in a hair salon, I could literally be anywhere, and someone says, oh my gosh, your lashes, like, I'm in meetings for work, and people are like, oh man, there's just something about your lashes. And of course, the question comes up, well, who does them for you? And the answer is, I do them myself. It's perfect marketing. So instead of shouting out someone else's business, and I'm all about women supporting women, don't get me wrong, but instead of highlighting someone else's business, it literally is me saying, no, I do my own lashes. And it's given me that upper hand in such a way where I am able to, like, women trust me to service them because they can see, what I can do just based off of looking at me. Again, I am my brand, so no matter where I am, I believe that you dress the way that you want to be addressed. As far as, you show up, you show with the expectation of knowing that God has something great for you to do when you are there. So even as far as sustainability and what makes me stand out, and even as far as being Miss Curve, Virginia, I think it all happened in such a way where God gave me something small and said, use that and show up and be honest and transparent in your doings. There are times where women cannot afford lashes, and they're in situations where they're transitioning through life. And it's funny because there are times where I service a woman and tears start to fall. I mean, it literally is therapy. And you have a conversation and you understand why God allowed them to come to you. And it becomes a relationship. It's not just me servicing you for money and the exchange of a service, but it more or less is, hey, how can I celebrate you? How can I love on you? How can I pour into you today? It is the encouragement that you give after the service. It's the relationship of, as far as checking in, and Queen, how are your kids, and how are you, and how is your family? It literally is all about relationship building and being transparent and honest. But it comes back to a heart of servanthood. And even now, as Ms. Curve, Virginia, I show up in a space in which I'm serving. I'm literally here to just serve and encourage women and uplift women. And I think it all started because God He gave me a seed, and He allowed me to be the face of it. And He literally said, if you honor me in your small doings, if you just allow me to be the voice that speaks, then I will do what only I can do through you. So that's my story.
Amen. And I think I like that story. That is awesome. Thank you for that. All right, Miss Shalita, what makes you stand out? What makes us want to spend our money with you?
And listening to, is it Amir? Amir? I'm sorry. When you took the name off, I was like,
Amara.
It's
Amara.
Amara.
We really do have some similarities, not just in, the fact of who we serve, but also in what our why is. For me, what makes me stand out is that I am a product of my service. I teach women that my framework that they have to power through. Life comes, it comes at you fast, the ebbs and the flows, and you have to be able to stand firm and flat footed in what it is that you believe, not just in terms of what the word of God says, but what is it that you believe about yourself and for yourself. And I had to learn that the hard way. So there were situations in my life that I had to say, how do I power through this? How do I power through the loss of my son at 7 days old? How do I power through a marriage that is failing in less than 5 years? How do I power through the loss of my mother and other loved ones? Well, the power through framework that I teach is what I had to live by. So that's pause and pray. I had to own the things that I had control and responsibility of. I had to watch out for the distractions. I had to explore the root of why I was feeling and responding certain ways. I had to release the past and the pain of my past, and I had to reframe the narrative. I had to really look at what it was that I was not only saying about myself, but that I was saying to myself. And so that I think is one of the main things that sets me apart, that I am a product of the things that I teach. Another thing that sets me apart is that I am open and transparent. I did not coin that. That comes from Mike Todd about being hot. I am humble, open, and transparent. People can ask me any and everything, and you will get an answer. You will get a real answer. You will get sometimes an extremely raw answer as well, but it was always be rooted in love and truth, no matter what it is. I have, in order for me to impact and to serve, I had to not be held hostage by the things and the choices and the decisions that I have made in my past. I had to break free from the guilt, hurt, shame, and defeat that was keeping me stuck, because I can't serve God's people if I am stuck in the things that I have done in my past. I can't say God forgives you if I'm not walking in true forgiveness of myself. And so those are
Wow.
the things that set me apart. Just being able to say, Lord, here I am, use me. And I do
Wow.
believe that's exactly what happens. And so, in order for me to push his narrative forward, I had to change the narrative that I was telling myself about myself. So, while I am helping women to break free from the self doubt and the uncertainty that they are experiencing, we really get to the root of why they are experiencing that self doubt and that uncertainty. It is usually based in some experience, some situation, some words that they have either taken on or that they have placed on themselves. And once we kind of uncover that, we peel back those onions, then we are able to look at the steps that need to be taken in order for you to really pull down those hopes and dreams that you placed on the shelf, because you didn't think you could do it, because you didn't think you were good enough, because you didn't think you deserved it, because you didn't think that's what God has for you, and say, listen, I know that I hear from God. I know
Wow.
that I am able to walk in his purpose. And it doesn't matter what was done in the past. It doesn't matter what was done 5 years ago. I mean, 5 minutes ago. If I am saying, Lord, here I am, use me, I am ready to walk in the path that you have placed me on. And if I am ready to say your word is going to be a light to my path, and I am ready to take each and every step, God led by you, then all of those other things don't matter. But you have to get to the point where you love yourself, that you accept yourself, and that you accept and believe what God is saying to you and telling you to do. I think that's
See, see, you
everything.
two already
That
got
is
me
so
want to give y'all
powerful.
some of my money. I understand. I
That's
understand why
powerful.
y'all are successful. Listen, Pastor Lee Morgan said, he said, Pastor Carl, somebody gonna get saved tonight with these testimonies. Listen, and Shalita just preached my sermon from this morning. So thank you. That was confirmation that I was on to something.
Amen. Amen. Absolutely.
All right, Meech, I want you to tell the audience what sets you apart. Why should we spend our money with you?
I'm going to start with a quote. And that quote is, "The earth without art is eh." And I say that because artists really have a hand in pretty much everything in our reality, from the buildings of architecture to the pop up, the ads that pop up on your phone. Artists literally have a hand in creating everything. And there's a lot of power in that. I've been, I would say, creating for about 10 years now. And for professionally, I've been creating about 4. But in that process, I've literally enveloped myself into the act of being an artist, whether it's creating, taking classes to be better as an artist. And I've really enveloped myself into the process. Another thing that I think sets me apart from other artists or any art company is the entertainment. I'm a very entertaining person, and I say that because I love what I do. I'm a young person who has the ability to do what they love for a career. So when I have the opportunity to do a paint and sip, or I'm creating an interior mural for a client, you're going to enjoy yourself the entire time we're there. We're going to talk. We're going to have an amazing time. We're going to share stories. We're going to network, and it's just an all-around experience. So in a nutshell, as far as art goes, I like to think that I am the what is the word I'm looking for? Well, I'm that guy around here as far as art. So when it comes to that, I like to think that, I'm the best at it. That's why.
Well, there's somebody who agrees with you. Lee Morgan says Meech is a bad man. His art is amazing. And Pastor Gary Holland saying that's the baddest artist in town. So we have some folks who are standing by that. And that's a great advertisement. Here on live TV, y'all, we don't rehearse anything. All right. So this is amazing. And thank you, brothers who are in the audience. Appreciate it. Y'all don't forget to tag and share this this broadcast, please. So now, here we are. You've told the audience why they should spend their money with you. What makes you stand out? Now here, and I'm going to start with Shalita on this one. How did the shutdown and everything that went crazy with COVID-19, how did that affect your business? And what type of creativity did you have to use to overcome it and abound so that you're still in business today?
When COVID and the pandemic hit, the it, the key word was pivot. Everybody was pivoting, and trying to figure out what to do. I was sick of the word pivot. I couldn't take it anymore. And I decided for me, the pivot really was about honesty. It wasn't necessarily a pivot in business as much as it was a pivot in my mindset. Because what I realized is that I was looking at what everybody else was doing. So I called it research, but in reality, I was taking on the characters of what other entrepreneurs were saying that should be happening in this world of pivot. And so for me, what I decided to do was I didn't pivot, I stopped. I stopped listening to what others were saying and doing, and I started really honing in on what God was calling me to say and to do so that I can stand out amongst all the noise of what else everybody was listening to and putting out there. So the pandemic was good in that it forced me to get before God even more. It forced me to get even clearer on who I am, what I'm doing, who I'm serving, and how I'm serving them. And that resonated in my business and in my ministry because it allowed me to become hot, hope, and humble, open, and transparent. It allowed me to really get clear and to put out the messages that God was giving me and not the messages that I was hearing from other people. So the pandemic was good in that I was able to slow down and just say, what is it that I am supposed to do? What is my lane? Who am I supposed to be impacting? And to be able to shut out the noise from everybody else. And for me, from a business standpoint, when you get clear, you are able to be seen by the people that God has called you to serve. So your message is able to hone in, and other people who are also hearing from God who have a need will now see you or see me because I am speaking to what their need is, and I'm not following what everyone else is saying and doing. So I am not, I kind of like, it's almost like I veered to the right. So I am not in the stream of the noise. I am now my own little side stop over here. And so when people are like, oh, wait, what she's saying is different, what she's doing is different. And actually, not only is it different, it's exactly what I'm saying to God that I needed to hear. So
Wow.
they know how, so I am positioned where I'm supposed to be. I am postured by what I am saying. God is telling me to say. I am purposeful because I'm doing what God is calling me to do. And somebody who was looking for that sees that piece. So that's what the pivot did for me. It got me postured, positioned, and more purpose.
I'm amazed at how creative people had to be to get through that period, and
Mhm.
how it's still making them abound. So thank you. I've been trying to say that, but I couldn't say it as well as you did. Thank you for that. Meech, how about you? How did the shutdown affect you, and what type of creativity did you have to use to abound and be around now?
Before I get started, that was phenomenal. How do I
Yeah.
follow?
Hard to follow that one.
Right at the end, I should have grabbed my pen and paper because she said 3 P's at the end. I was like, I should have got that.
I got you, Meech. I got you because I need to schedule some time with you anyway for my birthday. So we gonna talk.
Talk to me. That's I like it. But to answer your question, man, as an artist, it was really tough. Everybody say, "Oh, you artist? Is that your real job? You can make any real money?" So it was very difficult for me to, like she said, pivot. Once COVID began, a lot of my activity would come from outside painting sips or parties at, say, restaurants. We're having 50 to 100 people come in and have a good time, paint, enjoy themselves. So as soon as COVID hit, it was very hard for me to continue my business as we did. So I had a business partner of mine named Kenneth Monsanto. We would always build with each other on a very consistent basis. And at the time, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had made the decision to stop listening to a lot of music and start to listen to podcasts. And if anybody's familiar with podcasts, it's just somebody talking the entire time about a subject. And the subjects that I was tuning into was about small businesses and how to elevate yourself as a small business owner. At that time, I was just filtering kind of some of the things that was coming to me so I could be better for my business. And my business partner came up with the great idea of finding a way to package what I do and provide it to people. And it hit me as soon as he said that. I basically would take my art boxes. Now, again, I do a lot of paint and sip classes, whether it be virtual or personal. But making that transition to virtual paint parties really, really kept me and my family afloat on my end of the deal. And it was a blessing because at the time, of course, everybody was home. Everyone's home with their kids, and everyone's trying to find something fun to do, something creative to do. And once I hit the internet with the Art by Meech boxes, again, Art by Meech boxes are prepackaged art boxes. They come with everything from the paint to the canvases to the brushes, a couple stickers, maybe a T-shirt if I'm feeling great. And it hit the market hard, and everybody was supporting. And it really blew up to the point where I was able to create a consistent flow of branding behind it, and now it's a staple in my business today. So yeah, with the art boxes were a really, really big help for me to pivot from doing a lot of things out and about and being able to have my presence in people's homes.
Oh, wow. You found a way, brother. You found a way. And that is great. I can't wait to hear Amara's story. How did you survive all of the craziness of the pandemic during the shutdowns? We can wear masks, don't wear masks, don't go out. And how did you get to the point where you're here with us today?
Sure. So that's a great question. Meech, Shalita, you said it so well. And I honestly started taking notes because I'm like, wow, such great points. And I could definitely relate. But as far as COVID, it was interesting because I think for me, COVID was necessary. Necessary in the sense that I needed a minute to slow down and have a conversation with God. I think oftentimes we get so lost in the hustle of it all, meaning you're going from one thing to the next. And oftentimes, even as Christians, it's like, when you're active in church, you become so busy that you forget why you actually came in the first place. So you couple that with running a business, and you couple that with servicing women. And oftentimes you just get so caught up in just doing the service that you forget the heart of the matter. And so going back to posture, it literally forced me to posture myself in front of God and say, God, so where do we go now? What do we do now? When COVID hit, we were actually asked to shut down for a moment. And so my clients are like, hey, so I'm still doing virtual meetings. I'm still, we still have to keep going. And I learned that even through that, them showing up was not just them getting a service done, but it was really about us spending time together. And so as far as pivoting, once I was able to actually start back and start servicing clients, the conversations changed. Just being more transparent about where are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How can I best pray for you? Not just service you, not just a moment where you step in and then you leave and then that's it. Like when you think of church, a church is a hospital. People come to just be honest and transparent about where they are and remember who God is in the midst of all of that. And so the services changed primarily because the focal point became them as a person and me actually getting more in touch with who I am and who God created me to be in the midst of this season of life and dealing with that transition. And then now as a business owner, becoming that much more personal. And so that said, it's interesting because again, it's like there's so many people who are dealing with loss. And instead of just reaching out to say, hey girl, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, when is your next appointment? It was more or less just, how can I pray for you? And I started sending more devotionals, and I started picking up the phone more just to have a conversation to say, I'm thinking of you, praying for you. And it's amazing because you recognize that we are all carrying something. It's like everyone wears a sign that says, just care, just see me. And sometimes we feel unseen because we're so busy. We're just moving and shaking. And as far as women go, I mean, women wear so many hats: their mother, their sister, their wife, their friends, their business owner, they are colleague. We wear so many hats, and oftentimes you're doing, and then it feels as though no one sees you anymore because they're just so used to you being the strong one. And so now the strong ones have a moment to just be open, transparent, honest and vulnerable enough to say like, God, here I am. And it started with me as a business owner. I literally had to change my positioning before God enough to not see, as Shalita said, not look at what other people are doing. Because even in my pageant, I literally have to take my eyes off of what people are doing and say, God, here I am. If you brought me to it, if you allowed us to go through COVID, you will see us through it. The business that you gave us is not going to die in the midst of all that we are dealing with because you put us here. You gave us purpose in this. And so somehow, some way, we will have victory because the only answer that will suffice is God. God did it. God sustained me. God allowed me to see this way through, and he gave it to creativity to see ourselves through. So Meech created some boxes. I mean, literally, it's like you have to find more ways to be creative. And it's like we sometimes put God in a box, and God allows us to go through situations so that we can seek him differently, so we can get on our face before him to say, God, what do I do now? And it's almost as if he's just like, I needed you right there. I needed you to be a bit more honest. I needed you to want me more. And it's crazy because you don't even recognize how when you become so small, God just has a way of magnifying you. It's the most amazing and beautiful experience. But to answer the question, what changed was the heart posture. I had time now. I had nothing but time to seek God and say, so what do we do now? And even now that things are moving and shaking again, I find myself back in this place where I'm like, God, so what do I do now? Lead me, give me wisdom, help me to look at you and not look at what other people are doing. Because again, if you brought me to it, you're going to see me through it. And not the way that you did it before, but you're going to do it a different way. So now I have no choice but to trust you more, lean on you more. And as I do that, you supply me with the woman who I can empower and encourage. You put me in places such as this, where, I mean, my gosh, I feel like I'm in church all over again. And it's amazing because I feel so uplifted because I'm reminded that God has a way of sustaining us and bringing us together. It's a networking system, and we are so much stronger together. We rise and as we lift each other. And again, it's powerful. But I think the power in it was in the pivot and how we pivoted in our posture as we sought God in ways in which we never could have before.
Well, I tell you what, all of that made all of us think a little differently. If there was any time to get out of the box, yes, getting out of the box was survival. And then we found out we never needed the box anyway. So listen, I got some comments from the audience. Pastor Gary has written, slowing down, clarifying our vision and strategy in business, ministry, etc. is so important. That's where I am. Thanks for bringing words to my situation, Shalita. All right. And Meech, when you were talking about those boxes and everything, Sharita said, that's good. All right. Now, Doc Crossland, she has a question. She wants to know, and this is for everybody. So whoever wants to jump on this one first, the mic is open. What's your favorite pastime? Great question, Doc Crossland. What's your favorite pastime? Who wants to jump on that one first?
I would love to go ahead.
All right.
Well, I've always been a very creative person, so I do a lot of like longboarding at times. I love to create. When I say I love to create, whether it's hopping on my laptop and creating a digital project or painting, of course, obviously, I would love to do that. But me and my fiance recently had a daughter. She just turned 1. And that is my favorite pastime, hands down. I love spending time with my daughter. If I'm not painting a mural, I'm at home with my daughter spending some time. That's my favorite pastime.
You know what? That's a great answer. especially if your fiance is watching, you sound like a man of wisdom. And you see, the ladies are agreeing, right? All right. Who's next? What's your favorite pastime?
So I'm happy to go next. My favorite pastime, as cheesy as it sounds, I really enjoy listening to sermons. um, I know it may sound a bit cheesy, but I have found beauty in listening to how others love God and how they draw closer to Him. I think, what I appreciate about COVID is that I've actually had more time to be at home and to I can listen to three different services. So my dad is a pastor. He pastors. His name is Reverend Dr. Anthony Graham. Shout out to my daddy. He pastors a church in Brooklyn, New York, and I've had time because I'm in Virginia. I haven't had time to actually, travel home and just be a part of my home church. So I can listen to dad at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I attend Grace Church here in Dumfries, and I can tune into Bishop Greer and then Pastor Todd. Shalita, I'm like, yes, sister, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been listening to Pastor Todd. And it's crazy because as much as I say it's cheesy, but I understand the season in which I'm in, where it's easy to become so distracted by the news, by devastation. And I have found that the more I seek God and the more that I'm listening and tuning into Him, there's something that He's saying to me. And as I'm going through the day in and the day out and the hustle and bustle, and even as I'm having more conversations, to be in a beauty pageant, to be a pastor's daughter, to be in a beauty pageant, and to understand that we don't want to necessarily self-glorify. And the conversation now is, God, so how do I show up in this space representing you, to represent this thing that the world sees as us just glorifying self, and to say, no, God is in this. Like there needs to be a representative. And it's like, okay, God, here I am. How do I do it? And so even before I got on today, I said, God, here I am. What do you want me to say? And it's interesting because, again, I did not anticipate being so encouraged and inspired as I'm listening to all of you. But it's almost as if God said, I just needed you right here in this moment. Keep tuning into me, keep listening. And it's almost as if I'm using your words to speak to others, but I'm more so just meeting you right where you are. So I'll take the cheesiness over all the other stuff that I could be tuning into. But I have found that it's when you hear how people love God, how they talk to God day in, day out. It literally is a conversation. It's a relationship that you're building. It makes you want more and more. So that's where I find myself now. It's just me and God, and it's beautiful.
Amen to that. And that was not cheesy to me. I like what you're saying. I've learned a lot about y'all. Miss Shalita, what about you? What's your favorite pastime?
I'm going to deviate a little bit. So first, let me just say I am a part of Toastmasters, the S3 Toastmasters located right here in Stafford, Virginia. And ironically, we had a similar question to this in our meeting last Thursday. So I was mentally prepared for this question because I already answered it last week. So for me, one of my absolute favorite pastimes is listening to old school hip hop music. I am an old school hip hop head, and just being in the car on a sunny day, warmer than today, but sunny like today, sunroof open, just jamming out. It is a freedom that I get that comes with that to me. And not only is it a freedom in terms of my mind and my soul, and I can just kind of let my mind go and not have to think of all of the things that I do, it is also takes me down memory lane and always brings up great memories of childhood, of growing up, of being in college, of pledging, of all of those things. And it just makes me feel good. So one of my favorite things to do is just to listen to some old school hip hop in the car, down 95, sunroof open, absolutely chilling. That's one of my favorite pastimes.
Oh man, listen, you got some fans here. Lee says, "What? I knew I liked you for a reason." Yes, old school. And Gary said, "Yeah, boy," in his Flavor Flav voice.
Yeah,
That
see,
is
we all
awesome.
around that same age. They understand. It's just
That's
this
right.
new stuff. I can't do this new stuff, but that old, it's just
Oh
It's
yeah.
just good for you.
It really is. It is really awesome. And Dr. Crossland says you are all amazing and genuine. I'm going to go back to something that Gary said up here. He said because somebody I think was Meese that said he started listening to podcasts, getting information. And Gary says this series has become a video podcast. The insight and encouragement from so many different entrepreneurs is priceless. I'm gonna tell y'all something. And this particular group, I didn't tell y'all yet. I've been telling every other group. To be quite honest with you, God is doing something that I just didn't see coming. Right? I thought that this is going to be purely, really one-sided. I thought, hey, let's do something. Let's reach out and let's do something really great for the local business owners. Of course, it helps the community because you know who your Black business owners are, but I'm thinking it's really for you guys. What we found out is that the audience was really, really, really being touched by your stories. So yes, it's great that people find out about your business, and let's be very clear. Y'all here to make some money, okay? So that's the way it goes. All of us need a little money, right? But what I'm seeing is, as much as you are getting the help because you're getting exposure and your business is getting exposure, the audience is getting help because they're hearing these inspiring stories. And one thing I'm beginning to understand more and more, most people who are entrepreneurs and business owners are just dynamic people. Your product and your business may be the way that you enter into our sphere, but once we get to know you, we see that most of you are really multi-talented. And y'all probably got stuff going on that you're not even telling us about, right? And it's just amazing. And I find that to be a common thread with just about every panel. I believe this is episode 12. And I have not had one panel yet where I'm not actively thinking like, yeah, these are dynamic people. So it is amazing. It's been twofold. The audience is getting from you just as much as you will get from them. Because I'm telling you something, and this that I know, they may forget the name of your business, but they won't forget the connection they made with you on the episode. And that's going to make them go look you up and shop. Now, I done figured that part out. And if y'all haven't yet, you just did. That's amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you've shared thus far. And I want to say thank you to the audience because you've been amazing, but we're not finished just yet. We got a little bit more left before we sign off. So we know what you like to do in your pastime. We know what has helped you get through COVID. What are your future plans as far as your 1 year, 3 year, 5 year? And how do you see yourself as it relates to being responsible in the community? How do you see yourself involved in community service? So going forward, your short-term, medium-term plan, and how do you see yourself involved in community service? And Meech, I'm going to start with you on this one.
That's a very, very good question. To start, again, I've been creating for about 10 years now. And I would say most of that was just trial and error. Crash, write it down, figure out how to not crash again. And that served me wonderful, but I think it's definitely time for me to start to re-educate myself in the art process. There is a huge boom in art therapy, and I believe I can be a very good bridge between art and therapy for our community. And I say that because I know for myself, Black men have a very hard time getting through that therapy part. Us in a culture, period. So if I can be a bridge to help us in any manner through therapy with my creativity, then that's a small morsel of what I can from my community. Another thing is, again, I want to get back into school and I want to learn a little bit more about art and become an art teacher so I can start to teach in some of these schools, some of these colleges, and just get a deeper process on teaching everyone I don't want to say the process, but how I basically gained the confidence to not only start a business, but to create and enjoy creating. Because that's kind of the key right there. I always tell my classes and my students, art is about 90% confidence and 10% skill.
Wow. I have never heard it put like you said, 90% confidence and 10% skill. Okay. I'm gonna rock with it. I got you. I just learned something. Miss Shalita, how about you? What do you see yourself 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, and how do you see yourself and the She Win Unlimited as a part of the community? And what is your commitment to community service?
Long term, my goal is I think I said this earlier. I still work a full time job and am closer to the retirement side than I am to just starting. So my desire is that I'm going to continue to work a full time job so that I can get to that retirement stage. But as that is happening, I will be continuing to grow She Went Unlimited. I will continue to grow the health and wellness side of She Went Unlimited. I will continue to grow and host my annual women's conference, thinking about potentially making that twice a year as opposed to once a year. And I also want to get into real estate. So that's the long term plan for me as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as She Went Unlimited. As far as community goes, there are two things in particular that I am planning to focus on. I have a forgiveness program that God gave me several years ago that has pretty much been sitting on the shelves. And just here lately, I've been praying about working with a local organization, community based organization, one in Haymarket that I'm familiar of, another one that I would like to locate that's more central to where I live, and to be able to work with the women around the subject of forgiveness, forgiveness of others, and more important, forgiveness of themselves. And then second to that is pre-COVID, I used to host a entrepreneurial networking kind of meetup group, and I would like to start that back up. I think there are a ton of entrepreneurs in our immediate area, and just being able to connect, learn, support, grow, have fun, laugh, and hold each other accountable is really an important piece of what is necessary for us as business owners. We are not out here on an island by ourselves. And so, not just initiatives like what you're doing, Brother Carl, but in addition to that, just being able to come together now that things are opening up, as they're saying, we can kind of navigate a little more freely, and to be able to get together face to face. I think accountability is a huge piece of success, and being able to continue along the journey of success, because success is a journey, it is not a destination. And success is also a mindset. And when you are with like-minded individuals that can not just hold you accountable, that can support, that can push, that can encourage, that can provide information, that can share resources, all of that is important to being able to not just be successful in your business, but to also serve our community and help our community become and be more successful. So it's a huge endeavor, and I keep toying around with it, but I keep feeling that pull. So
Well, I tell
yeah,
you, you got some people that are with you because Lisa has sent him an invite.
I know you did.
All right, Miss Amara, what do you see yourself 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and how did you see yourself as part of the community and your commitment to the community?
Okay, so I, the beauty of this season in my life is one in which I am balancing, it feels like a balancing act. So I too also have a day job. I'm a marketing manager. And so career wise, I have been leaning on God, and I am in a place now where I am just soaking up as much as I can, because I think that there needs to be representation of us in that corporate world. And so that said, being a marketing manager now, it's interesting because I just see how God is opening up the door and he's allowed me to have a different kind of conversation. So now that the world sort of feels like it's my oasis, I'm literally saying, okay, God, how do we show up here? And so as far as career-wise, I would like to take it executive level. I appreciate when I can interact with young women like myself, or, younger ladies, and they can say to me, Amara, how you look different. How are you comfortable and confident looking the way that you do, and not feeling as though you have to change so that you can fit in? And so I think that representation for us as African Americans, my parents are, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. So, being second generation American, being comfortable wearing my mohawk, and understanding that they need to, in order for young ladies to feel as though they can reach, they have to see us there. And so I said, okay, God, just help me get there. So career-wise, I'm trusting for that executive level in which I can inspire, encourage, accountability, mentorship, just so that for those that I'm surrounded by, they can, and for those that God, just through my high school and middle schools, like I go back and I love to say thank you to the teachers that I've interacted with, because I understand that I would not have been here had it not been for the teachers, for the educators, for those who literally said there is something different and I don't want you to get lost. So, just a little bit, let me help guide you through. Had it not been for those who literally came alongside me and said, I'm here, and they helped carry me. And now I feel as though, just as they did that for me, I have to be able to do that for someone else. So that's corporate wise. With my beauty pageant, my beauty pageant takes place in Palm Springs in June. I am Miss Curve, Virginia now, but the goal is to win Miss US of A. And then next year, I get to do it on a global level where I represent America and I stand beside Miss South Africa and Miss Canada. And I I'm working towards that global title. So with that, the beauty of the beauty pageant is it's not just what we look like, but it's really all about how we serve. So as I mentioned, I'm originally from New York. And I had not always had the opportunity to go out and to volunteer. But due to my beauty pageant, I've been forced to network. And I have been reaching out to the Virginia Business Directory has been, the Black Business Directory, let me correct myself, has been such a great place for me to interact with other business owners,
Yes, it is.
and literally say, hey, how can I serve? How can I show up for you? So through that, I have been able to meet so many great business owners, so many great just individuals, and I've been able to serve alongside them. And I hope to continue that. Like I enjoy spending my weekends. Like I know Miss January Coates, she works with Amazon, and on Sundays, she literally shows up in Woodbridge and Fredericksburg, and her team serve like bags and packages of food. I mean, fresh food, good stuff. Cali Elite, I know that their organization is really about helping, young African-American boys as far as just in sports. And I've been able to help them at the shelter and to just like not only serve, but to also make food. I mean, we have so many great individuals and organizations just amongst our community, and to get involved, to literally say, here I am, how can I assist you, has been awesome. So I'm hoping that even through Graceful Lashes and Beauty, one of the dreams that I have is to build my own foundation for women's empowerment. I've started that. I have an annual women's empowerment event that I hold around my birthday. And it's been amazing because I'm hoping to bring that not just into New York, but then also into Virginia. So I'm hoping that another aspect of Graceful Lashes and Beauty is the community aspect, where I can encourage my clients to come alongside and let's just serve. God has really blessed Graceful Lashes and Beauty, and we give back a lot to New York, to my church community in New York, and even here, but to really show up and make it that much more about serving the community. Now I feel as though I have a business model through my beauty pageant that I can follow, so that we are really getting in the nitty and gritty of serving the community. And then last but not least, so I write daily devotionals. I've been doing it for the past few years, and I'm actually working on a book. And so I think it's that pastoral side of me that my father continues to pat me on the back for. But I believe that our whole lives need to prove that God is good. And so there are many people who won't pick up a Bible. They won't walk into a church. but they will look at our lives and understand just how good God is. So I share that devotional with my colleagues. I do it in meetings in ways in which you don't always have to say God in order for people to understand who you are and who you represent.
Mhm.
But the goal here is to literally prove that God is good in every single aspect of life. And so whether or not it's through my beauty pageant, whether or not it's through Grace Flashes and Beauty, whether or not it's through mentorship in my career, or whether or not it's in a book that becomes a series, the whole plan is to literally show up and obliterate this thought that people have regarding who we are and how we should show up, and prove just how good God is when we give him full reign of our lives.
You got that right. I love that answer. There are a couple of questions for the panel, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can, but this is a good one. This is for everybody. Some of those questions are individualized. So the question here is from Pastor Holland, and he wants to know, do any of the guests participate in groups that allow them to share their business plans for the purpose of accountability, a mastermind type group? And that's an open question because I don't know who does or who does not. But I'll read it again. Do any of the guests participate in groups that allow them to share their business plans for the purpose of accountability, a mastermind type group?
I think that's a great question and a great suggestion. And so if no one does currently at this time, I know I don't, but that's probably more that I don't know if such a group even exists. So if there is, then I think it might be helpful to know about it. I would not be opposed to doing it if there's that opportunity to do so. Or maybe that means that one should be considered to be created.
Sound
Pastor
like,
Holland,
yeah,
Pastor
I'm about to
Gary.
say, yes. Sound like he need to create. Oh, he knows something that we don't know, right?
Hmm.
Mitch and Amara, same thing for y'all.
So
Oh,
yeah, I think it's a great idea. One thing I will say, so Nisha from the Virginia Black Business Directory, she's actually a client of mine, and Nisha and I bounce ideas off each other at the time. And what's beautiful is that it helps with accountability. So Nisha says, "Hey Amara, you said," and I believe it was actually Nisha that connected me to the Heart for the Community initiative.
it
So
was.
I think on an individual level, I have a bit of that, but I love the broad idea of us just being able to come together and just build upon our business plans by the accountability factor. So I'm welcome to it. I love that idea.
Well,
And
Lee
that's
just
funny
told
because
us. I'm sorry, one
Nisha was
second.
part. I'm sorry, sir. Nisha was part of the group that we used when we used to meet back before COVID as well. So I think we're all kind of swimming
Yeah,
around the same idea. So it is. It sounds like something is definitely going to be created to do that.
Well,
yes.
Lee has some information. He says the Black Chamber of Commerce is going to start up a new mastermind soon. So, Lee, please do this. When you find the information out, if you would please post it on all of your outlets and definitely tag us. And a matter of fact, if you tag me, I will make sure that everyone who has been on this program, I will make sure that I will get that information out to them because that would be great. I'm really hoping that through this, that a lot of the business owners, maybe you didn't know each other before. Now, I've worked with Meech before this interview, right? But I had never worked with Miss Curve, and I had never worked with Shalita. I didn't even know who you were, right? Until just a few days ago. And that's another thing that kind of gets me excited about this, because just like the audience, I'm meeting business owners that I did not know. And I agree. One of you said how awesome the Virginia Black Business Directory is. Let me tell you, I built this series last year on connections from the Black Business Directory. So I got to thank God I was in partnership with them. They just didn't know it. I finally told them this year. So this is awesome. Now, there are a couple of other questions that were individualized. Let me get to them here. Let's see here. Gary asked Amara, do you have time to speak with groups of young ladies?
I would love that. Yes. I will make time. I love encouraging young women. And again, I think that representation is key. So I make myself available for it. And I'm happy to connect with you after. But I would love, love, love the opportunity to really just speak, encourage, make myself personally available because I think that we struggle silently as Meet said, it's not just young men or African American men who are struggling mentally, but you hear a sense of displacement amongst young women, because we see a lot of African American females. They see themselves like we are over sexualized in media, and if you can't show up as that, I mean, even on Instagram, Facebook, it mentally. If you don't have a filter on your picture, if you don't look a particular type of way, then you feel as though you are not enough. And so I have these conversations with some of these young ladies, I mean, there's a sense of suicide. There's a sense of sadness, a sense of lack of hope, primarily because they feel as though they're not enough. And so to change that narrative and to have an honest conversation to say, I understand how that feels. And these are some things that you can do to change that. These are some ways that you can love on yourself and empower yourself. I would love the opportunity if it saves a life. I mean, at times you don't recognize when someone literally is at that point of, I almost let go. Like the song says, I
Yes.
almost let go. I felt like I did not, have hope for anymore. I think all it takes is one opportunity, one person. And if I can be that person, God, here I am. So I would love
Amen.
that opportunity.
And Shalita, I'm going to ask you the same question because you do so much work with encouraging ladies. Could you be available for something like that if you were asked to do it?
Absolutely. Not only can I be available, I would be honored to do so. Absolutely.
Amen. I want my audience to hear that because I know even those of you who are not catching this live, what y'all need to know is there are thousands who will catch this in the replay, right? Sometimes we get somewhere between 10 and 12,000. So there will be thousands who will see this in the replay. So that's good. Now, Meech, there was a question asked of you earlier. Gary asked, can you do international virtual paint parties?
We can do them wherever. We can go global,
look,
baby.
look, long as that business is right?
Yeah, we can make it happen. That's for sure.
Hey, Garrett, Mitch wants you to get his money right. Don't play. Get that money right. Mitch will show up anywhere you want him to. All right. What we got here? So Jeffrey Legree, my man at Cali, I like this dude. And Jeff, I want to follow up with you because I want to make sure that young man's financial goal was met. I told you that we're going to send him to that camp. And if I got to do it myself, he is going. So please follow me. You can put something in the chat. Let me know whether he met his goal or not. We're going to get that money tonight if you don't have it already. All right. Jeffrey says, Gary, you have to schedule that through Cali Elite. Hands off Amara. He said she is Cali Elite now. Don't even mess with her. All right. So this is absolutely great. We're going to begin to wrap up here. And this is how I want to wrap. We're going to start with Meech, and then we'll go to Amara, and then we'll end with Shalita. This is your opportunity. There may be something that I did not cover tonight in our conversation that maybe you really want to get out, whether that be about yourself or your business. You may want to just give people some more contact information. Whatever it is that you want to get off of your chest, here's your opportunity to do it. And Meech, we'll start with you.
So first off, you guys can find me on any social media platform at Art by Meech, ARTBYMEECH. You can find all my services, all of my artwork, everything creative at artbymeech.com. And I'm just going to leave you guys with a last little remark to piggyback off of my last statement about the 90% confidence and 10% skill. I say that because the reason art is because every person is different. We're all here for a different purpose. We all have our own styles, our own creativity. So when it comes to artwork, if you're not putting yourself onto the canvas or into the artwork, whatever it is, it's not art. You're either copying an image or you're not putting yourself into it. So that's why I say it's 90% confidence and 10% skill, and that can be said about life as well. I know from the ladies in the panel, we've all spoke on how important it is to have a circle around you that not only holds you accountable, but you can progress with them, and just being in that spirit and using your own talent and creativity to provide for the community. So again, I want a lot of people to understand that when it comes to doing anything with passion, it's going to take about 90% confidence and about 10% of that skill.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. And Sharita, she put it up there. Hey, y'all, right before we bring Amara on, This is really important to me. It's really important. Uh, Jeff Legree just got back with me from Cali Elite. We're $180 short of the goal. There's a young man who's skilled. I believe it is basketball. He does not have a lot of financial means, and he's not doing so well with these teams because these teams cost money, and he just doesn't have it. I'm gonna make sure that he is able to go to this camp. Now I'm prepared to give that whole 180 by myself. But if you're a part of this audience and you see if you moved in your heart to donate, Jeff, I want you to put the information in the comments quickly as you can to let people know how they can give. And if giving happens before we get off of the air, I would like a report. Either way, I can't say before the sun go down because it's all gear to go down now. But before I go to bed tonight, we're gonna have that 180. And that young man is gone. Somebody say amen. All right. So Amara, here is your shot. Whatever it is that we didn't cover today, whatever you want to get out, here you go, my friend.
Thank you. So actually I want, before I share of how you can reach me, Jeffrey. So I had the opportunity to serve with you in Cali Elite, and I'm actually really encouraged and blessed by how you love on your men and how you show up for them. And so I would like to contribute $100. I'm on this panel right now, so I cannot, I can't send it right now, but I'm happy to send it via PayPal. I just saw your message. And I've had my own fundraiser going for the Mrs. Global organization, and I'm amazed at how God has used people to show up in ways in which I could not anticipate it. So that said, Jeffrey, it'd be a great blessing and honor to be able to give back to this young man, and I'm pledging $100 that I would send you right after this. So as far as how you can keep in contact with me, again, my name is Amara Graham. I am Miss Curve Virginia Globe 2022. You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Miss Curve Virginia 2022. If you would like to be serviced by me for Graceful Lashes and Beauty, you can simply go to gracefullashes&beautyllc.com, where you can see all of my services listed. I'm so happy, and it's such a blessing to service you. And as far as my last words, my parting words, oftentimes we despise our small beginnings. There are so many people who do lashes. There are so many beautiful women who are part of beauty pageants. However, once God has given you a dream for something, it means that there's something that only you can do. And so do not despise your small beginnings. One of my favorite quotes that I'm actually going to trademark is bloom where you've been planted and embrace joy as you grow and as you glow with grace. That said, again, do not despise your small beginnings. God has great purpose for your life, and his whole plan is to prove just how good he is through how you live. And so I am here to serve however I can be of service to this community. I am so blessed and encouraged by platforms and forums like this, because really we are so much stronger together. So please do not hesitate to reach out if it's preparing food, if it is doing lashes, if it is reading to children, if it is literally handing out flyers, if it is sharing on a platform like this, or if it's greeting people at different locations. I am here to serve as much as I can, because my whole life is to prove just how good he is through how I serve and love his people. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a great pleasure and blessing, and I cannot wait to interact more with you in forums and in ways such as this. So thank you again.
All right. Well, thank you. Certainly appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, my new sister, Shalita Duke. The microphone belongs to you, my friend.
Well, first, I just want to say again, Carl, thank you so very much for this platform and this opportunity. You can reach out to me. The easiest way is through my website, www.shewinunlimited.com. To any and every woman that is listening, to please save the date of September 17th, 2022. That is the third Saturday in September for the fifth annual She Went Unlimited annual retreat. This year's theme is Grace for Greatness. So if you are a Christian professional woman, a entrepreneur, and or a ministry leader, this conference is for you. This year's theme, like I said, is Grace for Greatness, and we are going to be sharing and talking and ministering all about God's grace. What I would leave as my parting words is my one of my very favorite quotes or statements that I always ask or that I always say to people. Entrepreneurship is a mirror to the soul. If you do not like what you see, only you can do something about that.
Oh, wow. That is good stuff. That's real, real good stuff, Miss Shalita. Man, well, listen, I have some good news, y'all. If my math is correct, I think that between Amara's pledge and Gary and Sharita, we have met the $180 threshold to send that young man to the camp. Now, my brother, this is what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Cali Elite. No doubt, you are helping many of these young people. And I don't know this for a fact, but I've been in your shoes, right? And I know that men in your shoes, you come out of your pocket a lot of times, stuff you got displaying to your wife because you can't stand for these young people to be turned down. So I'm going to jump on Cash App and I'm going to send you a nice little chunk to be in your Bama for Cali Elite so that the next young man who needs something, you won't have to reach so deeply into your pockets. Now, for all of those who are on with me and those who even will catch this in the replay, I'm going to put up the information for you to give to Cali Elite. He has two ways to give: PayPal, the PayPal information I've got on the screen right now, and that is Cali Elite Inc. at gmail.com. If you use that email address on a PayPal, and that's Cali Elite Inc. at gmail.com, you'll be able to donate by way of PayPal. You can also donate by way of Cash App. And Mr. Legree, I will be donating by Cash App. And what I'm saying is we've met the $180 thing. We're going to, everything we do in integrity. We've met that goal. Now what I'm talking about is seed money. Let's go ahead and put some money into the Cali Elite coffers so that when the next young man or two come forth, there'll already be some money there. I'm just asking those who can and will now, not compelling anybody to do anything, but those of you who the Lord is moving on your heart like he's moving on mine, we're going to do that, all right? And if you want to do it by way of Cash App, it is $ Cali Elite Inc. All right? We're going to do it like that. All right. And Jeff says, yes, I can purchase him a pair of shoes out of my pocket. His shoes were worn. Nah, brother, we got to raise this money. We're going to raise that shoe money. I'm going to tell you that right now. Amara, that's one of my many ministry gifts, raising money. And them old school pastors will tell you, you can't be no preacher they pulpit unless you can raise some money. And that's what the old school pastor said. Now, I didn't say Pastor Armstrong said it. I said the old school pastors. And all of y'all who came up under them old school pastors, you know I'm telling the truth. That had to be part of your skill set. You got to raise some money. All right. Well, Gary says we're setting up the ACT, SCT prep in June with Cali Elite for student athletes. Jeff is making it happen. All the more reason for all who can and will to pour in. I can't tell you how blessed I feel to be a part of the Heart for the Community Initiative 2022 Black Business Spotlight. Tonight, I just told our panel in the private chat that I love them. And I mean, man, they just came through and made episode number 12 blown out of the water. I'm going to tell you the truth. When I interview people that I know what to expect. And I don't have any fear. But like I said, I've worked with Meech before. Meech is the man and we know it. But I didn't know Miss Shalita. I didn't know Miss Amara. So you never know where the conversations are going to go. And they can tell you, I do not prep my panelists. I don't do that because I want to have a real conversation. But let me tell you, I agree, Miss Sharita. Boom. Y'all blew this thing out of the water. And I sincerely appreciate you. I'm sure that the audience appreciates you. And let me tell you, it is just amazing. You have been amazing. I'm going to ask the panel if you will please stay in the panel. When we get off the air, I just want to have a few words with you and then we'll go. For the audience, I want to say thank you again. I'm going to put this information up real quick for how you can give to Cali Elite in support of this young man. This is just awesome. If I can find it, come on, Carl. got to find a thing to get a man his money now. Oh, Jesus. This is what happened when you're in a rush. Cali Elite Inc. at gmail.com for PayPal, and Cali Elite Inc. With a $sign in front of it for Cash App. All right, there you go. And if you want to replay, you can go back and replay. You can get it. Until next time, may God bless you and may heaven smile upon you. Bye-bye for now.